What's up everybody, it's Paul from Boosted Films, and in this video we're going to change the engine air filter and the cabin air filters on this 2023 Mini Countryman. Now the cabin air filters particularly are definitely a bit tricky on this job, so you're going to want to watch carefully with that and decide whether or not you really want to tackle that by yourself. But if you decide to do this job by yourself, I'm going to put a link in the video description down below and pin the top comment with the exact filters I used in this video if you want to use them as well. So let's jump into it.
Let's start off with some tools that you'll need for this job. The flathead screwdriver, the trim removal tool, and the flashlight are all kind of pretty common items you might just have around your house. But the T20 and the T25 Torx, I know those aren't always the most popular tool to have, but you will need the T20 for the cabin air filters and you'll need the T25 for the engine air filter. So the first thing we're going to do in this video is actually change the engine air filter. And our first step is going to be opening up the hood. So down here, after we open up a driver's side door, you can see we have to pull this latch 2 times, and that will release the safety latch so we can open up our hood all the way. Now this is where our air box is. Our engine air filter is inside, and this is where it kind of flows air into the engine. Of course, our air filter is just filtering out that air that goes into our engine. There are 3 main screws that hold this top portion of the air box to the bottom portion. And we're going to utilize our T25 Torx, as I said, to loosen up those 3 screws. Now where this air tube connects to the top portion of this air box here, that is where we're going to utilize our flathead screwdriver. We're going to loosen up this clamp so we can twist that around and actually end up taking it off of that portion of the cover as well. Now on the side of the airbox closer to the engine here, there is one point where this wiring loom connects through, and there's just a rubber portion that you can kind of lift up and off of the airbox there. So that just kind of pulls up in a way. Now you should be able to lift up your airbox like I'm doing here, lift up that top portion and then pull out your engine air filter. If you want, it will work this way. It's a bit tight though. So in a second, I'm going to show you actually totally kind of removing that top portion of the airbox because it's just going to make it a lot easier to actually get the new one in. So this is how I did it to get it out. But as you can see next, we're going to cut to actually taking off the whole top portion of the airbox. All we really need to do here is disconnect that hose that we loosened the clamp of. So I'm putting a screwdriver in here to just help pry it out a little bit. And then I put the screwdriver in and give it a little twist. And then that is kind of what loosens this up. And then I use one hand to hold on to the hose and the other hand to hold on to the top of that plastic lid. And then you can see we can just set it aside here. Of course, being mindful that one plug-in is still connected there. Now we have our new engine air filter here, and we're going to open that up and compare the old to the new. I always like to make sure they're a pretty close size before I try to put them in, just to make sure I'm not fighting any other battles here. So of course this new one looks just like the old one, which is great. It's really going to only go in one way, as you can see here. So we're going to set it in place and then push it down. It is a little snug, a little bit of a tight fit. So you can use a little bit of a force to kind of push it down, and then it should lay pretty flat once it's all the way in place. And here's a close-up shot just showing what mine looked like once it was set down. Now we want to put the top cover back on, and to do that, the first thing we're going to do is reconnect it to the hose here. Again, it might be useful to grab onto that hose with one hand like I'm doing here, and then pushing the cover into it with your other hand, and it should slide in pretty easily. You can loosen up that clamp a bit more if needed. And then just lining up that cover where the bolt holes line up, I held a little pressure on it with one hand and then started screwing down these screws with the other hand. So of course, tightening those up, we're just kind of holding the top cover of this airbox to the bottom portion of the airbox, and our air filter, of course, is in between there. Can't forget to tighten up that clamp on the hose that we disconnected as well. So we're going to go ahead and tighten that up with our flathead screwdriver. And then, of course, we're just going to reconnect that one spot of that wire that we removed as well. That's just a simple line up and push over. Again, that's just kind of a rubber piece that you're sliding down over this metal piece. That's it. We're pretty much done. Of course, I'm going to take one last look, make sure I have everything tightened up, make sure I didn't leave any tools underneath the hood. And then we'll just be able to set down our hood. I like to just hold it up a little bit and then let it drop, and then double check, make sure it's latched all the way. Now we're going to move on to the trickier filter to change, and that is going to be our cabin air filter that filters the air that circulates within the car. So here we've opened up the passenger side door. I'm going to move this seat back just to give me as much room as possible. And I'm also going to pull out this floor mat here just to give us some more room and just make sure that that's not in the way as well while we're doing this. Now, as we move inside the car to the center console area, this interior piece here has one T20 Torx screw in it that we're going to have to remove. And then there's also a piece that's underneath the dash we're going to get to in a second that has some screws that we're going to have to remove as well. But one piece at a time. So the first piece we're going to remove here is this screw. Once that screw is out, I'm going to use my trim removal tool here to help pop this out. It's kind of pushed in at the bottom is where it holds in place here, so we're going to make sure we pop that out. Again, a regular screwdriver or something could work for this as well, but this trim removal tool is a little better at not mauling up the plastic trim. So now you can see we popped that trim piece off, and there is this connection for what I believe is just a light here. You got to squeeze the black part of this connection with your fingers, so squeeze right here and then pull out. It was very hard to film in this. I'm going to say this probably too many times. It's hard to film a lot of this stuff and actually put light on it and do all this in a tight quarters. So hopefully you'll give me a pass on that, but just squeeze and pull and you should be able to get that out of the way. Now we're close. This is where you can actually see I'm trying to get the best shot I can. Again, it's very dark, hard to see in here when it's dark like this, but right here's where this lid is for our cabin air filters, and I had to film this vertically just to even give you this shot, but this is me actually prying off or opening up that lid, and then that lid kind of swings on some hinges in there. So I just wanted to give you the best shot I could, where you should be able to just get your thumb, get your finger up in there to pry that kind of towards the engine portion of the car, and it should open up, and then inside you're seeing your cabin air filters. Note the airflow direction arrow on those as well. Next, this other trim piece we're going to have to remove to get these filters in. Part of the problem with this job is it's a tight working quarter and you need as much space as you can to get these filters in and out. So we're going to have to remove this one piece of plastic trim here as well. So again, the T20 screws, we're going to remove one of those on each side. After that, this panel can drop down. You will have to pull it down. There are other parts where it pushes up in place to hold it. So I'm using my trim removal tool again here just to give me a little extra leverage to get up in there and pry this down. So there's the two front portions here where you just pry it down, and then after that you should be able to just pull it more towards you, and then it will fall out of the slots that it was sliding into in the back there. Another connection we have here, this wire going to this little speaker. We're just going to, again, squeeze it and unplug that blue connection here to get this trim piece out of the way. Back to the tight quarters. I hope you do your yoga because you got to be flexible to get in here to get to these. You can swing this door open again, and then I took this door off. I think it'd be extra hard to get these filters in and out if you didn't take this door entirely off. So you open it up at a certain angle. You kind of got to feel it out. It's opened up, I would say, I don't know, 3/4 of the way. And then you kind of tilt it to pull out, I would say, like pull out the bottom portion first. I obviously couldn't film it very well. Again, it's very hard to see in there, especially to film and have a flashlight in there and show you. But I just kind of did my best to recreate it there and show you how I would tilt it and pull it out off the hinges there. So I will say, I think getting that door off is one of the trickier parts of doing this job. But once it's out of the way, we can start removing our filters. There are 2 filters in there. They're just stacked on top of each other. It's kind of like they couldn't fit one big one, so they had to make the big one 2 small ones. So you're just going to reach in and grab it and pull it out. They do come out easier than they go in, and they don't come out the easiest, but you can really just grab these and start pulling them out. Again, note that airflow direction arrow. You're going to want to make sure you pay attention to that when you put your new ones in, and make sure you have the airflow going the right way. The air is basically going to flow from the front of the car to the rear of the car in this case. So now we have that first cabin air filter out. We got to remove the second one, which is the same size as the first one, but it is going to be the lower one in this circumstance. So this one's a little bit trickier to get out than the top one, of course, because you need to really pinch it, grab it, pull it upward, and then pull it out. Same as the top one, airflow direction, of course, going the same way as well. These are malleable. You can bend them. It's going to be very important that I point that out to you when it goes to reinstalling the new ones as well. So here you can see these are probably the OEM original filters. A little bit dirty. We got our trim pieces that we removed as well. And then we, again, compare our old to our new. Here's the brand new cabin air filters I got. And we're going to open those up and just take a look and make sure that they're about the same size as the ones we removed. And noting that they have arrows on them as well for airflow direction. So as I kind of mock these two up and hold them in place, this is exactly how they're going to sit once they're in place where they need to be. And again, making sure that airflow arrow is pointing back towards the back of the car. Now we're going to take the first of our new filters. Again, you can see the way the arrow is going to be pointing when it goes in. We're going to just lift it up and find, line it up with that hole and slide it in place. This one goes way easier than the next one, but it is still snug. These filters fit pretty tightly, I will say. So you just kind of need to push it in a little bit with a little bit more force than you might be expecting. And then in this case, of course, I'm just sliding it down and making sure it's getting set down pretty much all the way. You should kind of feel when it bottoms out. Also, in a second here, I'm going to show you where there's kind of a line inside the airbox. If you take a flashlight and kind of peek in there, right here, you can see that there's this little designated line. I think that's a good safe point to be saying, hey, have this first filter below that little line. That's at least what I've seen anyway. You should have it. You should know it's low enough if you can see that little line there. You can also see that little airflow arrow direction on that airbox itself. So that's interesting. So here's where the trickiest part of this job kind of comes in my opinion. This top air filter is going to be tricky to get in, because if you try like I am here, you're just like, well, I have it straight, or I'm using as much room as I can. I have it up as high as I can go, and I'm trying to push it in, and it's not sliding in. This is what you're going to run into unless you removed even more stuff to try to slide this in. But here's how I'm actually going to get it in place here, and where I mentioned earlier that these are flexible and kind of malleable. So I'm trying to push this in again with my failed attempt and realizing this isn't going to work very well if I can't kind of bend the angle of entry of this filter. So how am I going to do that? So you're probably trying to do it like this and saying, well, this isn't working. What's going on? Well, what I'm going to end up doing here is probably grabbing the air filter about a quarter of the way over, not like right in the middle, but a little bit closer kind of to the airbox in this case. And what I'm going to end up doing is just squeezing it so it has a bend to it. So you can see my thumb kind of going up towards the top, and the kind of the position of where my hand is there. So when I squeeze the filter now, what it's going to do is it's going to bend that trajectory of kind of the entry to get it started. So when I squeeze it enough, that kind of let it bend over, and then you can see how I kind of kept prying it upward from this other right side here, and then was able to eventually push it in. The fact that I was able to film that while I did it is actually honestly pretty surprising for myself. But what I wanted to show you outside the car here is how you would squeeze. Like, this is just a better example of showing you kind of right where I grabbed it, right where you kind of want to squeeze it so that you can bend that one portion of it down, and that should let you line it up a little bit better so it actually will start sliding in. So hopefully that is the key to getting you to be able to do this job. Next is this door. We're going to put this little door back on that covers the filters. This one's, again, also tricky to film, but similar to removing it, you got to kind of line it up. I think I slid in the top portion of the door part first, and then the bottom portion, I pushed it in place. There are parts where it will slide in. Again, if you just take a closer look at that door itself and then where it connects, if you just shine a flashlight up in there, take a peek, it should make some sense to you as to how it's going to reconnect. You just need to be mindful of the slots that it lines up with as well outside of that hinge portion of it. So it's going to be a bit finicky, it's going to be a little bit hard to get on, but you should be able to line it up and then eventually kind of push it in place. Just try not to do too much force, of course, because you don't want to break it, but it will require a little bit of force once it's kind of lined up and ready to where it would snap in. So I guess I'm trying to say, don't really just jam it on if it doesn't look like it's going in place. Try to, if it's giving you a lot of force to put it in place, just take a look and make sure it looks like it's sliding up into the spot where it needs to be, and not getting blocked by where those protruding parts are on the back part of that hinge as well. But there it is. I have it in place now, and then I'm able to latch it and close it back up. And the hardest parts of this job are now over. Hooray. But of course, we got to put these trim pieces back in place. So this little speaker connection point here I'm pointing out, I'm going to, of course, reconnect that blue wire to that speaker. And just because these wires were kind of just dangling about, I decided to plug in this trim piece, leave it sit there, and then plug in this other trim piece as well, just so I didn't accidentally like kind of bury that wire, pushing that one other trim piece in place. So once those are both connected, again, they should just push and snap in place. Next, we're going to put this top trim piece in place, and you can see how I kind of slid it upward. There are two spots back here where that needs to line up. So one's there, one's there. You just need to make sure those slide in place back there. That holds it up towards the back end. That's why there's no screws back there. And then there's two spots here in the front with these points that stick out. You're going to have to line those up when you push it back upward in place. And then once those are lined up, you should be able to snap it in place. And then your screw holes should line up as well, where you would put those other two screws in. I think I had to bend this or kind of pull it forward a little bit for it to actually line up. But then one side snaps in, and then so does the other side. And before I do those screws, I'm going to snap in this other panel, this side panel as well. You can also see where that snaps in place. You can see where those should line up. So make sure you line those up, and the back portion where you plugged it in, line that up as well. And then once it's lined up, you should give it a little bit of force, and then you'll hear it kind of snap in place. Sorry for my fingers blocking the shot there. Now we're just tightening up those final two screws. Again, hope you got your yoga classes in, because you are bending and contorting your body around in some fun ways during this job, that's for sure. Can't forget that final screw on this side panel here, so we're going to tighten that one up. And there we have it, double checking everything's solid and in place. Removing any tools we used. We can put our floor mat back down, push that in place. You can put your seat back where it was as well. And that's it, really. You have successfully changed the cabin air filters in your Mini Cooper. And there you have it, everybody. I sure hope you found this video helpful. Again, I think this, as far as cabin air filter changes go, I've done a lot of them, and this was one of the harder cars to do. So just be mindful of that. Also, I am just a guy on YouTube likes to document what he does. So if I skipped a step, or if you know a trick that could help people out to do this job, go ahead and please leave that comment in the comment section down below. Give us some helpful information. I'd like to try to crowdsource information in my videos, take advice from other people that have done the same job, so we can all just help each other out. Also, again, this was a 2023 Mini Countryman. Now, if you have like a 2022 Mini or a 2021, or if yours isn't the Countryman, if you could let me know if this procedure worked the same for you and whatever the specs on your Mini are, that could be useful not only for me, but also other people that may be watching this video with a different model year Mini. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to help me out, again, you know how it works on YouTube. If you can leave a comment, interact with this video, like the video, share the video, all this stuff helps me out. But otherwise, I just hope you found this video helpful. And as always, this is Paul from Boosted Films saying thanks so much for watching.
I just want to say that domestic violence is never okay. If you or someone you know is experiencing issues with a partner and doesn't feel safe, please visit the website thehotline.org or call 1-800-799-SAFE.